Darius P. Woman. Episode 3. Darius.
Darius.
Sim didn't move for 90 seconds. Maya counted. Not obviously. She wasn't obvious about the things that mattered, but she counted. Watching Sim's reflection in the monitor. The quality of stillness. That isn't calm, but is the body's response to a shock, so complete, that the nervous system stops negotiating with it and waits for new instructions. Sim's hands were flat on the desk. Her coffee had gone cold. The Oracle terminal blinked, its patient cursor, into the silence. Then Sim stood up, walked to the window, and looked at the blinds, like she was reading something written between the slats.
His name is Darius Carter. He's my brother. He's been in Coleman Federal Penitentiary for 10 years on a drug trafficking conviction. He didn't do it.
Maya said nothing. She had learned, through interrogations, through interviews, through 8 months of watching Sim specifically. That silence was the most aggressive question. You could ask someone, people-filled silence. They couldn't help it. Silence was a container, and the truth was always looking for somewhere to go.
He was 22.
Sim continued. Her voice had the quality of something being read from a document, the protective distance of someone who has told a story so many times, they've learned to stand slightly outside it.
Working at a logistics company in Overtown, driving routes, legal work. Nothing else. He wasn't in the life. He was specifically, deliberately, carefully, not in the life, because our neighborhood had a gravitational pull toward it, and Darius understood the physics of that. He had a plan: community college, state school, supply chain management. He'd been reading about it. He had a plan.
She turned from the window.
Someone attached his name to a crypto wallet, built a transaction record that put him at the center of a distribution network, moving fentanyl precursor chemicals through the port. The evidence was digital, detailed, and completely fabricated. I could see it the minute I looked at it. I was 19 years old, and I could see it. The timestamp signatures were wrong. Too clean, too regular, generated from a template, rather than recorded in real time. The wallet generation pattern was synthetic. You can't fake the way a real wallet gets created. There's an organic randomness to it. An entropy from the actual computational moment of generation. This one was too orderly. The randomness was performed.
You were 19.
I was 19, and I had been coding since I was 11. And I was right.
No defensiveness, just the record.
I told 3 lawyers. 2 didn't know enough about digital forensics to evaluate it. 1 was interested for 48 hours before concluding that fighting. Fabricated digital evidence was expensive and speculative, and not the kind of case his firm wanted. 2 MIT professors. 1 told me I was probably misreading the data and should defer to the prosecution's credentialed analysts, which was the most polite way I have ever been told. That a 19-year-old black girl from Overtown should know her place. The second believed me, helped me formalize the analysis, wrote a letter. The letter was not admitted.
And the FBI agent?
Listened for 20 minutes, took my analysis, said he'd have someone look at it. Darius was convicted. 8 weeks later, I never heard from the agent again.
She sat down, looked at the Oracle terminal.
I built Oracle because of that signature, not all of it. There were other cases, other reasons. but the foundation, the deepest layer of pattern recognition. I built it because I was 19 years old, and I could see what happened to my brother, and nobody would listen. And I decided the problem was that I didn't yet have a tool, powerful enough, to make them listen.
She pointed to a sequence in the lower third of the screen.
This pattern, this specific wallet generation timing, and transaction interval distribution. I've seen it in 2 other cases. In 3 years, cold cases, convictions that never got appealed because the defendants couldn't afford it. I flagged them, documented them. I've been waiting for a 3rd data point. That would establish the pattern as systemic rather than coincidental.
She turned to Maya, eyes dry, voice steady. The steadiness of someone who has been holding something this heavy for so long that the holding has become structural.
This is the 3rd data point. It's here, inside Phantom. The same handwriting, Maya. The same system that built. A $300 million laundering operation. Also manufactured the evidence. That sent my brother to prison. My brother went to prison as a proof of concept.
The server tower hummed. The rooster had stopped, having apparently made its point. Outside, the food truck on the corner was doing brisk business, with cheerful indifference to the devastation occurring 3 floors above it. Maya sat very still in the folding chair, thinking about the lockbox, the file inside it, Roland Royale's name. In the payment records? Phantom, she thought.
It was always Phantom. The whole time. She said none of this.
How long has Oracle been running the unauthorized analysis on Darius's case?
Sim looked at her sharply.
How do you know about that?
Because I know you built a tool specifically designed to find exactly this kind of fabricated evidence. Your brother's case is the original reason. You built it. The math isn't complicated.
3 weeks. The FOIA request for the digital forensics. Documentation came through 8 months ago. I've been running it as a background process.
She watched the screen.
What I found tonight, I wasn't expecting to find it here, in Jade Ellison's financials. I was expecting to find it, buried in a sealed archive, something I'd have to fight, another 6 months to access.
Instead, it walked through the front door.
Instead, it walked through the front door of the most sophisticated money laundering operation currently active in the southeastern United States.
Sim shook her head.
Phantom didn't just launder money, it rented out its capabilities. It was a service. Someone bought the evidence fabrication product and used it on my brother.
Which means there's a client list, Maya said carefully.
Sim looked at her, the full weight of it.
Which means there's a client list. This changes the scope of what we're doing. We don't have the jurisdiction. We don't have the resources. We should be calling the FBI.
She said this in a tone that made clear she was not going to call the FBI.
We should,
Maya agreed, in a tone that made it equally clear. They looked at each other.
Darius gets out in 2 years, or he gets out when we break this open. Those are the options I'm working with.
then we work it.
I need you to tell me right now if there is anything you know that I don't know.
Quiet without giving.
Part 2 of Darius Carter next episode.